Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the PT Educators Professors of Profit Vlogcast. I'm joined tonight by Dr. Jared Aguilar, who, golly, man, this guy has been doing it for a long time, longer than I have. And I'm just super excited to have him on here tonight to talk about one of my big three. I just had a live video that I did about the top 3 side gigs and side hustles that professors and clinicians should consider in the world of healthcare. So Jared's going to break down some of the reasons why I think that podcasting is one of the top 3 side gigs you should do. So without further ado, Jared, tell us a little bit about yourself and your areas of expertise.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about podcasting today. I guess I've been a podcaster for about 3 years now. It's funny, you go on Facebook and you see your memories pop up, and like all of a sudden now it's all these podcasting memories are 3 years since I did this podcast. So pretty weird because I started off as a podcaster in PT school, and it was an easy way to network with people such as F Scott. It's much easier to reach out to your heroes and say, hey, in exchange for your time, I'd love to, promote what you have going on, your courses, as opposed to just, hey, can I talk your ear off for an hour? So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about all the benefits of podcasting because I've definitely benefited from a lot due to this medium.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, and it's one of the unsung reasons that I feel like podcasting is so important, and it's networking. There's a book out there by Dana Derricks called The Dream 100 List. And it's basically, if you were trying to get to the top 5 to 10 people that could help push your business forward or push your agenda forward or really help get your message out there, how would you get to those 5 to 10 people? And really the way to do that is kind of networking and get in with people that are in their circle and that are close to them and work your way up the ladder to eventually get to talk and network with those people. I mean, shoot. Some of the jobs that I've gotten as an adjunct professor have been 100% networking. They had nothing to do with my resume, nothing to do with my qualifications. It was all just networking through the podcast. So I think that is, it's not necessarily a monetary benefit, but I think networking is one of the huge benefits that you'll find in podcasting. And it's just a quick way to grow your network, kind of almost
Totally.
Like a sneaky way to meet a lot of people really quick, especially
Yes.
the higher ups that are tough to get to sometimes.
It's pretty insane. You just imagine all the people that were in grad school before us and they couldn't network via the internet. They'd had to physically go to these places. Now we can network with whoever we want to at any time.
Yeah, we're so fortunate and really in a blessed time, that's for sure, given all the crazy stuff that's going on. Still really, really good time to be in healthcare, So Jared, I've got another question for you here. What are some of the pros and cons that you see when it comes to podcasting, and why should professors and clinicians in healthcare consider starting a podcast?
Yeah, I'll answer the pros first because it's easier. I have by now to be acting. That's led me to at least 2 jobs. My first job out of PT school, I received due to podcasting. I had somebody, a business owner, listen to my podcast and was like, "Ooh, I want to hire you." After vetting me out online a little bit, and then my job where I'm at now, at a startup company, I was brought on because I was a go-getter, because I impressed some of the fellow PTs due to me getting after it in PT school with a podcast. So there's countless benefits of networking, of just resume building. And like you mentioned it earlier, that's almost more beneficial than the monetary side of it. Yeah, you can get some podcast sponsorships. It can be an avenue for you to host other things like Con Ed and courses, but the networking for me has been huge. So that's a huge pro for me. Some of the cons is it can be time intensive. If you're a perfectionist, you may not like the way you sound every episode, and you may want to you can get as tedious as you want to be with editing out things like coughs and making sure you can fade in the theme music, outro, intro. So there's it can definitely be a time suck if you let it be, and that can be a huge con. Another con is that you probably won't make a lot of money at first. And it's kind of just a labor of love and something you have to be really passionate about it to actually stick with it. Because
Yeah, that definitely is one of the things that I've learned. I mean, I let go of the perfectionist stuff a long time ago. I just gave up on it. I just said it is what it is. Here's the content, take it or leave it, you know.
you have to, man.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the bigger picture, I think, like you said, I mean, I'm impressed really, and a shout out to you guys for doing this stuff while you were in PT school. I mean, I could barely keep my head above float. So kudos to you guys for taking on a podcast as well. But yeah, I just, you know, for me, I feel like if the content is good, people will forgive, you know, crummy audio on occasion,
Totally.
you know.
Totally.
But there's also, you know, with, even though it's a labor of love when you're starting off, right? I mean, we were out to seek, you know, answers. We were on a mission to find some of the best practices out there in education and teaching with the Healthcare Education Transformation podcast. So we didn't have an agenda. We just wanted to know. We wanted to learn. We wanted to talk to the experts, see what they felt like was broken in academia and how we could possibly fix it. And you know, it has given us the opportunity to monetize through sponsors and through affiliate deals, but that wasn't ever the start. Now, in order to make the podcast run and to accomplish things that we want to accomplish down the line, there will have to be some form of monetization, you know,
Yeah.
even if it's just enough to keep the podcast running. But we've got a couple of really good things in the mix. We got some tools that we're working on and some courses that we're building out. So, you know, there's going to be opportunity down the line. It's, you know, not a rush. It's just a way for us to kind of pull together some things to help people in the future if they're interested in academia and getting into teaching and trying to make healthcare academia better. So, Jared,
Perfect.
what would you say are some expert secrets or tips that you could give to people who are maybe just getting started in the podcast world?
Yeah, sorry, I think my Wi-Fi was struggling there. So
That's all right.
there's
We
an
got you.
expert cool. There's an expert tip right there. You have to push through even when your Wi-Fi is not cooperating. Again, that could be a con or a pro, depending on how you look at
Right.
it. Hey, some expert secrets. You don't need to spend money to get started with podcasting. I think that's the biggest one that I can deliver. There's an app or website called Anchor where you can host your podcast for free. If you're new to podcasting, hosting is where you upload your MP3 file and it distribute out to like Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. So anchor.com to get started. You can just use your cell phone as a mic. You don't need to go out and buy the Blue Yeti that I use, that a lot of podcasters use. That's a USB mic. You have Anchor. You have an iPhone, a Google Pixel, whatever. Easy. Of course, if you do want to look at some other podcast hosting sites that you can see a little bit more analytics and stats, there's Buzzsprout, Libsyn. But you really don't need that much to get started. I think that's the biggest tip that I can give. Yeah, if you want to bring some guests on for an interview, sure, but just vlog. So it's basically a vlog, a blog in audio form, and it doesn't take much to get started.
Yeah, no, that's a great pointer. And that's literally, I mean, if we go back to our first episode and we listen to it, it's cringeworthy. It's like, oh my God, what were we doing? But at the same time, you know, we just learned on the fly. We got better. We got better at questioning and interviewing. And, you know, now we're where we're at. So Jared,
Yeah.
thank you so much, man, for coming on and for sharing your expertise in the world of podcasting. Where can people reach out to you if they have further questions, if they want to listen to your podcast? You know, or if they just want to know about the industry.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, F Scott. It's always fun collaborating and recording with you. You can listen to my podcast, the Duck Legs podcast, anywhere podcast you listen to. You can reach out to me, hit me up on Instagram, Dr. Jared Aguilar, ducklegspodcast@gmail.com if you have any deeper questions. And we are at the Duck Legs on Instagram too if you want to follow us for some memes, some silly stuff that we're posting usually.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure, and look forward to talking with you again, man.
Yes, sir.